to Amargão Football Daily. We got Amadeus in the house and Paul joining us again today. I'm actually out at a baseball game here, and I thought it was supposed to be about 80 degrees Fahrenheit, but it's not. I got shorts and a t-shirt on, and it's a little chilly, but might have blown it here. Um, Paul, did you watch any of the games last night?
Of course. I couldn't fall asleep.
Uh, I'm again. He's a Real Madrid fan, so yesterday, crazy. I thought Madrid was gonna kind of have a result. I didn't know that Benzema was gonna have a hat trick, and they were just gonna annihilate I Barcelona. But once again, I said yesterday, I don't know how good this Barcelona team is. I don't think they're that good. I know they're leading La Liga by 12 points, but I still don't think they're that good.
I think I'm a Real Madrid fan. I think they will have a quite generation, but not now. In about 1 or 2 seasons, because this Gavi, Pedri, Frankie De Jong, he's still young. He's around 25, I think. Araujo, I think they are very good, but they are still very young. And this Real Madrid team with Modric, Toni Kroos, Benzema, everyone has an abundance of experience at the highest stage. And I told you last night, Barcelona conceded 2 or more goals only against Inter and Manchester United this season when they meet big teams.
That's
So
right. Amadeus, I think you were on Madrid as well, weren't you?
No, I actually liked Barcelona in that one, but
Oh, okay.
I don't know, man. You think this Barcelona team's not that good? I don't know what to make of this Real Madrid team. Sorry, Paul, but your team's an absolute wild card. They show up sometimes, other times they just look pathetic and can't score goals. So I don't know what to make of them anymore. This La Liga is getting a little interesting. There was a time a few weeks ago where Real Sociedad looked like one of the strongest teams in the league, and now they're just absolutely falling apart. While Atletico Madrid is steaming up the table. So La Liga is very interesting this year.
And
yeah,
Real,
but it's all about finding the motivation, and I think it's lacking in this Real Madrid squad when it comes to La Liga. Real Madrid plays only the best football when they're having their back against the wall. That's it.
I think it's going to be interesting when you see, Frank Lampard back in charge of Chelsea here. It's the sentimental choice here. So, you got, I still, we talked yesterday, Amadeus, about these Champions League ties. I think, these four ties, I mean, it could go any way. They're fantastic. And, you know, I'm really excited for the ties, the European ties on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Even Thursday, the Europa League ties I think are pretty good as well. So I think we're going to see some pretty good games here next week, and not a lot of action today. I mean, when you look at the scoreboard today, you got FC Nancy against Toulouse in the Coupe de France. Not the biggest matchup in the world, but one of those teams will move on. But you do have some, Copa Lib matches and Copa Sud matches. So, that's basically what it is on the schedule. And we have some big results from the women. Cyprus beat Armenia 6-0, Bulgaria 3-0 over Lithuania, and Poland beat Costa Rica 2-1. So that's what we had today. Not a lot of action though, other than the Copa Sud and Copa Lib matches. So I don't know if either of you kind of take a look at those um, before today. Anything kind of catch your eye between those couple matches?
Yeah, well, yeah, I was looking at it for tonight, but it's hard to find value. Like for example, Atletico Mineiro, they're about a minus 200, and they were a team that last year in the Brazil City A, they were really trending downwards after they got eliminated from Copa Lib, and they haven't looked the best this year. They're not really a team I trust a lot. If they win this game, it's probably only going to be by 1 goal. Very very good defensively. But the other one I was looking at was I kind of like the under in the Corinthians, but it's so juiced to the under, you basically have to take the 2. And yeah, I don't really know how you're going to bet that one.
Paul, I know probably for you the those matches because most of them are there's a couple that start at 5 o'clock Eastern time and 7 o'clock 9 o'clock. For you, you're probably only watching those if you can't sleep.
Yeah,
I know it's in
it's
Europe,
kind
right?
of hard in Europe.
Yeah.
Uh,
Do you get a chance to watch any of those or the MLS or any of that stuff often or not? It's just really you have to be kind of a not sleeping that night.
Not really. These are like the last hours of my sleep. If it's NBA, I can get up though. Not for South American football though.
What coming up? The playoffs. We talked. I just got done talking about that on the ESPN show. With these games this weekend, but starting next week is the NBA play-in games, as and then you got the you got the playoffs starting next weekend, and I think the NBA playoffs right now. I know Amadeus, you follow that as well as a little bit too. I think the NBA playoffs this year could be one of the best in a long time. The Bucks are good. The Celtics are good, but there's a lot that there's some really good stories. The Knicks are back alive. Sacramento for the first time in a while. Golden State, trying to win back-to-back titles, kind of like Houston that, in 93 and 94 when they came back that second year and, didn't play well in the regular season, but won the title easily. I think the NBA right now, getting into this last, basically week of the, couple days of the season could be really interesting going into the playoffs. I mean, what do you guys think about that?
The West is packed. The playing tournament and the last 2 positions, the fifth and sixth spots, anyone can go there. And Dallas with Kyrie and Luca.
They might not even get in.
Yeah,
But if they do get in, who knows? I mean, if
last
they
night
do,
they won.
Kyrie effect, man. The Kyrie effect.
yeah, that's the thing. I mean, that's I just looked at that. If they get in, if Minnesota's obviously in. If Minnesota, with Towns healthy, I mean, these are teams you probably don't want to play in the first round. I mean, in the West, obviously, Dallas or Denver and Memphis, not. I don't know if anyone thinks they're overwhelming favorites. I mean, really, Phoenix is favored to come out of the
I
West. So
think the lower positions are scarier.
yeah,
Well, even the Mavericks, just to get into the playoffs, they would have to go through. Look at the teams in those play-in games. They would have to either go through. It could be the Lakers, it could be the Warriors if the Lakers take that spot, right? So they got some good teams to get through. The Pelicans are in 8th. They've been on fire, and they're missing Zion Williamson too. They've been a great home team
If
as
he
well.
returns,
Yeah,
that's the thing. I mean, if a team like Dallas gets in and has to play, Denver in the first round, I don't know. I think Denver would. I know Denver's been really good all year, but man, I don't know if I'd want any part of that series. And some of these, then Denver could have to play the Suns or the Warriors in the second round. There's so many. In the East, you got.
you mean the undefeated Durants?
Yeah. Look, it's pretty crazy. I mean, I'm not a huge NBA. I don't care about the regular season. It doesn't matter. Now is when it starts. But now with the playoffs, look, I mean, these series, I think you're going to be, if you're betting, I think you could make some money betting on series distance. I think there's going to be these deep. I think the series are going to go, 5, 6, 7 games all the way through. I just don't know who's better than anybody here in at all. Obviously, I think the Bucks are, but I just think you're going to get a lot of series going deep and really toss up series. It's kind of we talk about the Champions League like that. I don't know, these 4 ties are pretty even. I just think it's the same thing with basketball right now.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. And one thing, I'm going to use the Eastern Conference as an example, but like when you look at the playoffs right now, I couldn't tell you who's going to make it to the finals out of each conference because I think there's going to be a lot of matchup based series. Like, the Celtics, the Bucks, and the 76ers, they've been dominating the East all year. They're the three best teams, but I could see this. I could see the 76ers struggling against the Bucks, but beating out the Celtics. I could see the Celtics struggling obviously with the 76ers, but beating out the Bucks. So, there's a lot I think is going to be real matchup based, and it's all going to depend, I think.
I think
We got to see these series.
Cleveland might be able to give somebody a problem in the East. They would
All
probably,
these all three teams, Boston, Philly, and Milwaukee, they are all struggling when playing with the Chicago Bulls.
There you go. That's another team. They're in the play-in games. So.
And yeah, and Chicago when they meet Orlando and or Detroit, they get the L.
Yeah, it's because you don't get up for those teams.
Yeah, it's a strange look. I mean, we just watched the NCAA tournament where these teams came out of UConn obviously all year was very good, but you had these teams come out of nowhere to get to the Final Four and do well, and I just think that's the way basketball is kind of going now. These teams are really kind of like everybody's the same. You just don't, I don't know. You don't have that super team. Oh, that ball's crushed. Oh, foul. Watching a little baseball game here. But yeah, I think it's interesting, and I don't know, what to make of it. I think there's going to be some decent value there. Have either of you started to look ahead to the games on Friday with for football here? You got basically every league in England is playing other than the Premier League. And guess who's playing? Club Brugge is playing in Belgium, and I'm sure if I go to Romania,
just going to be a Cluj in there.
CFR Cluj is going to be playing because it's a day of the week. Let's see if they are playing. They are
not
no
Romanian games.
No Romanian games.
Yeah. Friday. See, the thing is, Friday is a little more common. They play on the weird days, like the Tuesday
Monday.
when there's a Champions League game going on. That's when you see them play. It's like, oh, okay, we'll throw them in.
Yeah, exactly. It's just it's so strange. No, Sevilla. It's interesting because they moved Sevilla. They let Sevilla play on Friday because they got the huge game next Thursday with Manchester United. Sevilla's been terrible in the league. They're only on 31 points.
Sevilla's been great at home lately. They've won, I think, like 5 of their last 7, and they're not really allowing goals at home. But Celta Vigo is no pushover themselves. So.
And then, of course, you got the 3. There's a couple huge games. There's 3 huge games in Italy. None of them, Lecce against Napoli.
Yeah, they let all the Champions League teams go on the Friday, and I don't want a piece of any of these games except for maybe Salernitana.
You know what? His game is really for me. In Ligue 1, Lens plays Strasbourg, and Lens is at home. And Lens still has the best record. They've played 14 and only lost. They're 12-1-1 at home. They've only allowed 10 goals and scored 29. If Lens wins this game on Friday, tomorrow, they will be 3 points back of PSG, a PSG team that is starting to implode.
And they would be 3 ahead of the 3rd place Marseille, who's put a little pressure on them too.
Yeah, exactly. And and PSG has to go play Nice on Saturday. Any kind of do you guys think there's any chance that PSG doesn't win that league right now with Gautier out the door? Is it just weird, or what do you think?
No, I think it's impossible for them not to win the league title.
I don't know. This team is just collapsing down the line. It's gonna be very interesting. What happens to them in the summertime? But I don't know. I think Lons is a good team. They really take advantage of their home matches. But I would be more worried about Marseille catching PSG. I've been, you can ask Sean. I've been on this Marseille team all year, even when they were back in like fourth or fifth. I told Sean, I was like, I think they can come up the rear and pass this Lons team, and sure enough, they did. Now they're tied, obviously, but I still have a little faith in Marseille. I think they got a really good team they're building over there. If maybe if they didn't have to cancel every home game due to riots, maybe they would catch PSG a little faster. But
No, it's crazy. Foxy's here. Sean, hope you didn't take West Ham draw no bet in the end. Nah, I didn't bet those games yesterday. I never, I don't bet Manchester United really, and I don't know West Ham.
I gave out the over in your United game, and I had Man United as a free play. It should have been the other way around.
The over in the other game.
Yeah, I had Newcastle at the plus. I thought plus 130 was too much value. They've been on fire lately.
The team's just, I don't understand what's going on. They're just like bending over for Newcastle all of a sudden. Like what the keeper is just like match fixing here. I think I don't know what's going on, Foxy. They're just Foxy. I think I thought maybe your game Saturday would be a little tougher, but Brentford was terrible yesterday. I was stunned that Brentford had, Manchester United had 80% possession in the first half. Like Brentford didn't even try to come play. They just behind the ball. I was really disappointed. I thought Brentford was going to come out and try to play, and they didn't. I don't know, were you, Paul? Were you surprised by the way Brentford kind of just?
No, that's football.
Yeah.
You cannot go and play every day the same level, the same intensity, the same quality of the ball. And I won't be surprised if on Saturday the Bees defeat Newcastle.
I wouldn't be stunned. Yeah, Ivan Tony.
How long? You cannot go forever.
I think the top. We have two. Yeah, Foxy. I think I'm going to tell you what. I think you have a better chance to lose that Villa game. I look at, when you look at this table, I actually, I've come around. This Villa team, right now they're in seventh. I think they somehow make one of the European spots. I just think Emery's got him playing well. I think that game is tougher for you, Villa, next week. But I also think that I think Manchester United, if they can beat Everton and Newcastle, if you can win on the weekend, Tottenham's got Brighton. If Brighton can get a result there, I think the top four is probably just about set at that point. I just think it's going to be the ones that are in the top four there. I think Tottenham's in a little bit of trouble here. I think we've been talking about that for a while.
I don't think there will be any changes between the teams in the top four. Only maybe Newcastle and United. I don't have any idea, but these four will be the same at the end.
I'm still sticking with Brighton in number 4.
I think they have a chance. They have a chance to. I'll be interested to see because they got those matches in hand. I think they have. And they play, everybody ahead of them. So, look, if they go out and they beat Tottenham, all of a sudden they're only a point behind Tottenham. So,
they still have matches in hand. That's the big thing for me is they have matches in hand. But I mean, if Newcastle keeps playing the way they're playing now, then they're gonna be really tough to rip that 4th spot away from.
Everybody will be dropping points, that's for sure. But
yeah,
the quality of Newcastle and Man United, the consistency, because Tottenham, they still don't know the name of their next coach, their next manager. So
Tottenham doesn't even know if they're gonna have Harry Kane next year.
I don't think he will. Yeah, Brentford is no. Look, hey, look, Brentford last weekend in that. Yeah, Brentford last weekend, Foxy, in that game, 3-3 against Brighton. But yeah, I think Tottenham is.
And then they laid an egg against Leicester. Was it Leicester? Was it Leicester City? was Leicester
Yeah.
or Everton, just up
I
and
think
down.
Tottenham's going to be. I think Tottenham's in a lot of trouble here if they don't. There's a bunch of teams here if they don't make like Chelsea. If they don't make, they're not making Europe. But if Chelsea doesn't win the Champions League, I think they're going to have to sell a ton of players just to financial fair play. I think Liverpool's in a lot of trouble.
Did you hear what was happening
Everyone.
after the Potter sack? And players were coming because they're pissed off with Todd Bowley. He's really the root of all the problems on that Chelsea team. But players were upset with the sacking, not only just because they don't think it was, they think it's more of a front office thing than the managing of the team, but they had so many players. There was guys getting changed out in the hallway because they
Yeah,
couldn't fit them all in the locker room.
it's a mess.
Yeah, that's not how you run a football team, but
I mean,
yeah.
he's
There will be exodus in a lot of teams, but I expect maybe Harry Kane will be even on the move if Tottenham don't qualify for the championship.
I agree. I think he's on the move this summer, but I think he stays
Yeah,
in the Premier League because he's really set
yeah,
on
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
scoring record in the Premier League. Like I know Real Madrid had interest in him, but I doubt he leaves
No
England.
way, no way. And Mbappe today publicly, you heard the story? You read
which
about
one?
it? Mbappe
Yeah,
and some
2024 to
from PSG
2024 to
from.
Real Madrid. Yeah,
Is
he
it?
should
Is
have
that's
just.
the thing now?
Yeah, he's gonna run down his contract and go. He should have just. They're not dealing with PSG this summer. They're just gonna make him run down his contract like he did before, and then he's gonna go. It's just stupid. He should have just went. I know they gave him a ton of money, but that whole PSG thing. Look, I mean, I would love him at Manchester United, obviously, and the whole thing with Cutter if they get the team. But he's got when the time he was 10 years old, he's got a million Real Madrid posters. I mean, he only wants Real Madrid. The only reason, I think they said, he's gonna go to Madrid. Foxy, I thought Chelsea had a chance of knocking out Real Madrid, but with Lampard, I'd say it's close to 0%. Look, if Real Madrid plays the way they played yesterday, there's no chance. You're correct, but
You know
it's
what?
interesting.
Real Madrid really setting up their future there because if they get Mbappe in the 2024 summertime, then they've already signed Endrick from Palmeiras, so they're gonna have some young studs playing up front for them.
Tushmani, and that's the thing. I mean, that's why they're always good. I was talking about this with somebody yesterday. They set up for the future. Barcelona is kind of they're kicking the can down the road. They're not set up for the future. This team here, Real Madrid, is always thinking for the future. They're always bringing in, replacing players, young players, and that's I think kind of what Manchester United has to do. They need they have some young players coming through, obviously Garnacho and stuff, and they have Ahmad playing and these other kids, but they need to you need to just be able to plan for the future and win at the same time. So Real Madrid will be they have Cruz and Modric and these older midfielders, but then they brought in Camavinga and
Many.
many and these players and they now they're Camavinga's been unbelievable in the last.
Last night he played in defense on the left of defense. He was amazing.
Hey, Paul Foxy has a question for you. He said he heard Barcelona is not going to be playing in the new camp next season with them updating the stadium. Do you know where they'll play home games?
Yeah, across town, some Espanyol's old stadium or something like that. They'll stay in Barcelona.
Yeah, it's not
I,
supposed to be done
it
until
was
2026.
Montjuic or something like this. The name of the stadium. I read a story about it, but they will stay in Catalonia.
Let's see.
The thing about Real Madrid is they are Real Madrid, but Modric, Cross, uh, Dani Ceballos, Nacho, Asensio. They are all with expiring contracts.
Yep,
But no
exactly. The
one
old
is
defense.
panicked. You see, no one is panicked. No one is writing stories. This one is going, and I'm not sure if even Benzema has renewed his contract. He had expiring too.
Um, Foxy, they'll play at the Olympic Stadium and then
Wonderful.
Palau St. Jordi. They're closer to, so it's actually right by usually where I stay down by the Gothic quarter. So they're going to play next year in the Olympic Stadium, Estadio Olympic Louis Companies in Montjuic Hill. And they're going to return to camp now in 2024-25, but only using 50% capacity. So they'll be playing close. So when I stay there, I don't have to go on the tram as far. The underground is far now. It's a little closer. So, but yeah, it's interesting. I thought Real Madrid did it the best way because when they renovated, they did it during that COVID season, and they were playing at that stadium, the Valdebebas, and while they were doing it, and then, when I went to the game last year, they had most of the stadium back open, and now, they're going to be ready to go here. So, once again, a little bit of foresight, so they're out there. Uh,
Well, maybe when Barca returns to Spotify Camp Nou, they will have fixed all their financial issues and
We'll see. They got
well,
to sell about 50 players to do that. So, but any kind of anything else? Any kind of things looking likely to talk about here? You got any other kind of focus for today?
no, it's not that busy tonight.
Yeah, it's
So
not that busy a day. You got, I don't know, Paul. I don't know if you follow any baseball. A lot of games canceled here today because of the weather. They canceled it. It was too sunny apparently in some of these places, but it's pretty crazy. I don't know if you have any baseball plays, Amadeus.
Today was it's a very bad day. Like you just said, all the games got canceled. There's like 5 now. We went from like
It's
having
a
like
weird day. Usually there's game like
yeah,
usually
there's not
we
even really
said
any
this.
soccer.
Usually there's football, there's baseball. Like it's just a weird day. There's not much going on today in sports, so it's not the greatest day. So tomorrow will be better. So we will be back tomorrow with some of the games on Friday, and then of course we'll talk about the weekend as well. So you know, if you want everybody wants to join us tomorrow, we'll kind of give that update of the weekend, and of course we got the Amargão football nightly tomorrow night as well at 9 p.m. Eastern time, where we'll talk about some of the weekend as well. So, all right. So, any final thoughts? No. All
no,
right.
thank you.
Don't take
Forever.
Inter Milan tomorrow.
Yes.
at the
Those
at
games
the
are tough,
minus
man.
one or minus 1.5 that they're asking.
Yeah. Those
And
games are
Sagi's
tough.
done. I've been reading that even if they win Coppa Italia and the Champions League title, he's still getting sacked in the summertime.
Yeah, they're not winning the Champions League, so that doesn't really.
And
Those
well, that's what I mean.
games,
Even if they won that and the cup, they're like, you're still gone, man. Absolutely ridiculous how you let Napoli run away with it.
yeah, Foxy. There's some good Libertadores, Liverpool, Corinthians. Liverpool have some gems. Yeah, I think that there's some. That's the good games tonight. So, Foxy, I don't know who you got. We'll be on in about a half hour talking a little bit, some more stuff. But Foxy, make sure you give us some of those plays there. So, all right. So we will see you tomorrow at the same time, and we'll talk about the weekend action. So thanks for joining us.